Hey everyone, welcome to Handy at the Shandy, a Las Vegas podcast. I'm Adam the Fraud, joined by Table James Games and Boring Jack. This is episode 13, hour 1, and in this episode, we're kind of doing our 2025 year in review. The peaks and troughs, the ups and downs, the tops and bottoms, which leads me to my first question. James, top or bottom?
Really depends on the day. Depends on the day.
Samesies. So actually our first topic that we should get out of the way, because we are a handy-based episode, and I should mention that we're recording a little bit early, so this is going to take some time to get released. This might be old news, but the handy threshold is apparently going up from $1,200 to $2,000. Jack, what have you heard? Word on the street, breaking news.
Yeah, this just came out today. And so it's weeks old by the time you're hearing it, but that's generally the way we do stuff. So the IRS had just been really dragging their feet on giving out official guidance on whether or not the Handpay threshold was going up, just because the verbiage in the original law, I think, was so vague as to what was actually being discussed. But they put out a draft that a bunch of news outlets pick up, and the draft is of the instructions for the W-2G form for 2026. And that's important because the law was originally written as if it was 1099 forms that were going to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that this official draft from the IRS of the 2026 W-2G form includes the guidance to issue on pays of $2,000 and up does mean that that is what we should expect in the new year. As casinos get their machines turned over to that new threshold, you should stop getting hand pays for things in the $1,200 to $1,999 range.
Yeah, and this is the first time that they have changed that since 1977, right? Like, it's been a long time. That's been $1,200 for a very long time.
Yeah, so inflation adjusted, it should be up in like the 6,000 range at this point, and we're getting 2,000. The main thing, I guess, that bothers me about this as a general, medium roller that gets hand pays a couple times a year. I think I got 2 this year, one for $1,200, one for $2,400, is that it doesn't really reduce the number of hand pays you get by a large factor.
Right.
Like, based on this very small sample, it's cutting it in half, which I guess is nice. But all the hits that you really want, like a royal on a multiplier, like any quarter royal I hit, if it was $1,000, it wasn't a hand pay before.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry about it. And if it's on a multiplier, it's still going to be a hand pay in the future. It's going to be $2,000 or more. So kind of those aspirational hits that you're looking for, none of those have changed under the new hand pay threshold, at least for the games I play.
I think it's going to change. It'll do a lot for people, I think, who are playing slots, right? Obviously, there's a lot more real estate in that $1,200 to $1,999 range that a lot of those end up getting hit. I only had one over 2,000 this year, so it would have cut mine down, like you said. It actually would have cut mine down by a decent amount. I think out of the 8 I have this year, I think only one of them is $2,000.
I choose not to pay taxes at all, so this is not going to affect me. And I don't hit hand pays either, so I'm not affected by this news. Did I read that they're going to start looking at it a year by year to raise it for inflation, or did I completely make that up?
I haven't seen that anywhere that I've looked, but also all I saw was like a couple of tweets about it. And then I texted Jack and said, hey, we should talk about this since our podcast is named Handy at the Shandy. And then Jack sent me a picture and I said, that's all I've seen too. And then Jack did some more digging and got some real reporting because I wasn't going to do anything extra.
Right.
I would struggle to call the reporting I'm doing real, but
for Vegas Twitter, this is
farcical reporting.
Perhaps. You didn't make it up completely, so this is actual reporting at this point.
I think the big downside for us is this raises the threshold on who gets a handy at the shandy, right? Like Jaron is in the vaunted Handy at the Shandy Club, but
Good
were that hit to have happened even just a month later, he could have been on the outside looking in. So we're going to have to get some serious hits in 2026 if we want to stay at the Handy at the Shandy tier level.
We're going to put in another workday or 2 to make sure that someone gets it.
Can't wait.
Well, speaking of fun things that happened in the past, let's take a look back at 2025 and some of the things we liked, some of the things that surprised us, things that we thought could have been better. But let's start with the best meal you had in Vegas. Jack, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I think the obvious one, and this is kind of something that happened right around the time we started this show, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. It has to be A, by Jose Andres, the like limited seating mini restaurant within a restaurant inside Jaleo at the Cosmopolitan. It runs you $430 a person for the tasting menu. It's absolutely insane, but it was one of the coolest meals I've ever had, much less meal I've had in Vegas. But I've already talked about that. So the thing that I'm going to give my honorable mention to was a restaurant I ate at in February of 2025 for the first time, which was Sinatra at Encore, the Italian restaurant there. And the thing that impressed me most about Sinatra, I think, was the limited menu. They really had like 6 or 7 cocktails, a few appetizers, probably only 5 or 6 entrees. It really all fit on just like one big sheet of paper. It's nice in Vegas to go to a restaurant where you know that they think they do enough things well that they don't have to give you a lot of options.
Right, right. It's like the opposite of the Cheesecake Factory. James, what about you?
Very similar. I'm going to go off of something that I've talked about on the pod a few times. And it has to be the dinner I had with Kim at Pisces back in June. Pisces had just opened, and yes, it was expensive. I was very happy that I had $400 in resort credit at Wynn to take care of most of it. And it was just delicious, A. And B, we got to sit outside with what is that? The lake?
The Lake of Dreams.
Lake of Dreams. That's what it is. So it was just really wonderful. And of course the company, because Kim was there, it was great. So that was my best meal. I don't have any honorable mentions because I did not know that we were doing honorable mentions. So thank you, Jack, for making us look bad. But yeah.
Well, I did that because the audience has already heard about the number one spot.
I also have an honorable mention as well. I came prepared for once. James, would you go to Pisces without the $400 credit?
Yes.
Okay.
We all know this on the pod. I'm usually not one that's going to go and spend money. Like I remember when I was listening to this pod from last week, and Jack was like, "This was a really good. I had all these expensive dinners." I was like, "Yeah, I know." It was like my least favorite part. Like I wanted to be I wanted to be gambling more, but I would
long
definitely
expensive dinners. Yes.
Yeah, I would go back for sure. I thought it was really good.
Well, I'll break us away from the Wynn Encore area, and I'll say that mine was actually Beauty and Essex at Cosmo. It was my first time going there, and I didn't really know. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. If you go by like Cosmo's marketing speak of being like sexy, mysterious, a little swanky, that's what they want you to feel when you're in Cosmo. At least when it originally opened, you saw those really odd kind of commercials and stuff on TV. And I think Beauty and Essex kind of fits that really well. So it's small plates, but everything's done really well. Again, not a massive menu or anything. It's not a place that I'm running back to, but I like the vibe. It's kind of fun. It's in that they call it a speakeasy, but it's like once you get past the guitars, it's just a regular restaurant feel. But I really enjoyed it. I will say that my honorable mention is actually a place I went to on our most recent trip that I forgot to talk about, which is called Palette, which is in the Arts District. The reason I went there is because my buddy Jaron, he has a family member who actually owns the place. And I'm so glad that he took us there. It's got a little bit of kind of Filipino inspired dishes, but a lot of just kind of Americana stuff too. Really, really cool place to go for brunch. We had a great time. He tried to give us our meal for free and we kept refusing. So he finally gave us like some sliders for free on the house. But it was really cool to be in the Arts District. I'd never been. It feels like a completely different city out there. It was kind of a really nice break from the hustle and bustle of our trip. So yeah, check out Palette if you're ever in the Arts District and looking for something a little bit different.
There's a lot of stuff in the Arts District I'm looking to get to because they've just, they're increasing the amount of like restaurants and stuff they have there so greatly. Esther's Kitchen, of course, is out there. We've talked about that. The same chef, James Trees, has a place there, I think called like La Boheme or Bar Boheme or something like that. And that looks like really good food. I would be excited to try that. And then much like this one that Adam's plugging here, Palette, there's just a lot of stuff around there. I think the chef from my favorite place to eat downtown that has since closed, the place called Eat.
Oh, yeah.
Chef Natalie something or other. I think she's got a new place in the Arts District. There's just so much stuff going on there. And I make so few trips out there that it's not like, I can kind of just go to one every night on a given Vegas trip.
Yeah, it's a really cool area. We ended up, while we were waiting for Uber to come to take us back to the Strip, we walked into this art gallery. And I'm thankful that I called an Uber and it was waiting for us because I was ready to spend up to $1,000 on this Las Vegas piece that they had, original piece of artwork of Las Vegas. I'm like, I got to go. we can't figure out the details of how to pack this and get this to my house. But, in my head, I'm doing that gambling math. I'm like, this is only one session of video poker at Shandy. Like, I can afford this and it would look awesome in the office. But I'm like, I got to go. But I got the guy's card. I'll probably end up back there at some point and figure it out. But definitely worth going to.
Yeah, maybe in 2026 we'll have to spend some more time in the arts district.
Yeah, not a lot of gambling down there, James. I don't see you spending a ton of time there, but
actually, I've been down there multiple times. Yes, I went with Jack for Esther's, but also that's where the improv theater is. So
oh, nice.
I've gone to a few improv shows and performed there a few times. But you are
I love that
correct
both
in
of you have gone and seen art in the arts district, whereas I don't even consider that as being there.
It's just
like,
a
it's
name.
breweries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are cultured on this
Craft
podcast.
Very cultured, yes. It was a finger painting, by the way, that I was looking at. So let's go into our best session in Vegas. I'll lead this one to start because it's the most recent. And to me, it was the last day, well, James's last day on a recent trip where we all kind of just took over Chandelier Bar. It wasn't my best session of the trip. I think my best session was actually a solo session in September at Shandy in terms of how much money I won, and I actually lost at Shandy this day. But I think since we had that takeover, that whole bar was basically ours. We're just like, to me, that's the type of gambling I like just with friends all day, hanging out at a good spot. People are drinking, have a good time. Pretty much everybody was hitting something fun. Just a great time.
One thing that I don't think we mentioned on the last show about that Monday Chandelier Bar takeover is the bartender asked us if we were a club.
Oh yeah, that's
like
right.
he was like, "Oh, are you guys a club?"
Yeah.
And like, oh, I don't know. We were kind of gobsmacked. Like I didn't know what to say. And Adam spoke up and he said, "Oh no, we're just friends."
Yeah, like, that was my creative quip to that. Yes.
Yeah, not a lot sticks out this year when it comes money wise because I've had a horrible 2025. Like it's just been it's not been great.
T's
Very
and P's.
few. Yeah, thank you so much.
Only 8 hand pays, only one above 2,000,
Yeah,
etc.
When you heard last time of how fast I'm playing those
Yeah.
Ultimate X, and I'm blaming Jack for this because I'm looking at my gambling spreadsheet and it's Ultimate X is just killing me. Like if I was going back and just playing my single line or even triple line, it would have been way worse. But anyways, so I'm taking this as best session as a time where I had a lot of enjoyment, and I figured it would come up about our last trip when all of us were there. So I picked something from earlier in the summer. I ended up playing at a Crapless Craps table for probably 3 hours by myself the last night of a trip.
Sounds like a blast.
Me, I'm like, I love being with everybody. This is great. James is like, I'm by myself.
I was by myself.
Yeah.
It was the same night that Kim took her sad girl bath, where we were playing at the Palazzo High Limit Room and she had lost her bankroll. So she went up. I went to the Crapless table and I played for hours and ended up only losing like a couple $100. And it was just so nice to just, sometimes you get to those games, you lose your bankroll so fast. So it was just really nice to play for a while. So that's the one that I'm picking for my best session this year.
Yeah, winning wise, I've had a couple where it's just kind of like we talked about Dan on the last show, just kind of going from $200 to $3,000 over the course of just a few big hits. I've had a couple sessions this year where my balance just keeps going up for reasons I almost can't explain at the time, right? You're just like, I don't even know what I've been hitting, but I can't stop the balance from just growing unboundedly. And so that's always fun. But I think my favorite session would be a Chandelier session I played with James and Quick Quads Josh in February, where as we walked up to the bar, people vacated such that we got like the 3 prime spots there on the main right-hand side of the bar, all 3 of which had Ultimate X. All the buttons were working. Our favorite bartenders were working there. Like Greg was there before he hard quit the Cosmo. And we were just getting like great drinks. I think I lost $1,500 and had to go take out a second marker. And like, I still remember it as like one of the most fond sessions. That's how you know it was a blast, is that I remember it so vividly and fondly despite losing my ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. All right, Jack, something that surprised you positively this year.
I think the fact that there's more video poker options than I kind of thought. Like I went into this year thinking I'm kind of set in my ways. I know where I like to play, know where I like to drink, and I'm kind of going to stick to that and be a champion for those places. And I added more mainstays this year. Like we talked about at the very outset of the show, having like a secondary bar that you like to play at on a property, those are becoming kind of primary bars at this point. Like the Cosmos Sportsbook and Bar Luca at Palazzo are now places I'm actively interested in playing at as opposed to second fiddle. I think also there's just more video poker becoming more available. Like Fontainebleau opened with a very limited video poker lineup, and you can tell that they got feedback that that was not welcome. And so not only have we reported that they added video poker to that solo lounge that they have there, which is kind of like a high limit room, but kind of not. They've also just recently announced that the Tavern, kind of the sports bar there that has the video poker that was on the property when they opened, that is now going to be open 24 hours a day for 5 days of the week. And so my interest in going to somewhere like Fontainebleau has gone through the roof with these two new additions. And so that might be another place that in 2026 I'll get to play. And so I just have way more broader horizons, the video poker wise, than I thought I was going to.
Well, that's a good transition for me because my thing that surprised me positively this year is Fontainebleau and how much I enjoyed the property, specifically the room quality. And I was kind of looking back, and I'm like, oh, wow, I actually spent a lot of time in some really good rooms this year, just now with Waldorf Astoria, although that was only one night. But then earlier in May, I did a 24-hour stay at Fontainebleau, and I'm hard pressed beyond Win and Encore to figure out what base room actually beats Fontainebleau in terms of just overall quality because they are damn nice, they're clean, they're fresh. You're not getting the nicks on them or anything like that. Like they haven't been slept in much. And it just has, quality furniture, great design. I think it fits that property well. I think it fits Vegas well. And you can get them at a pretty good price, especially midweek. So definitely a place that I think more people should try out. I get that it kind of sits on an island a little bit. There's not a ton going on around it. And I think they need to find at least one good casual place, not find, have one good casual place that's open 24/7 or have just some sort of good 24/7 option. But overall, yeah, I really like staying there. James, what about you?
I went in a slightly different direction, and this is going to be really cheesy, but what has surprised me is how welcoming people have been in this podcasting space to someone new like me. Like I'm very new to the space. Like obviously, Adam, you've been around for a very long time, and everyone knows how smart and handsome Boring Jack is. And I'm just like, hey, here I am, and everyone's been so nice coming up. I got a message from Mississippi Rob, who I've never met, who's like, hey, how do I get my hands on one of those VP trackers? And I was like, send me your address. I'm going to send it down to you. So it's just been a very pleasant surprise in this space for me. So kind of, going a little off of the Vegas thing, but it's true for me.
Nice.
We'll allow it.
Oh, we'll allow it. Well, let's get into something more negative then, James, and let's talk about how people have been so mean to you online.
Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. So what's something that has kind of bummed you out or shocked you this year, Vegas-wise?
Yeah, for me, like just seeing the Vegas is dead being overblown when like you can clearly just look at the data and see like, yeah, sure, there's a drop in visitation, but there's still tens of millions of people coming through. Like, how are you just overblowing this? And I get it, it's for clicks, and I get it, it's for listens and ad revenue and all that shit. But like, it was just so overblown, and not just like for like a weekend where people were. It's like an entire like season. It was just overblown that like Vegas is dead. Like so much so that when I was there in the summer, I made a dumbass tweet where I took a picture of a rooftop and was like, oh man, no one's on this rooftop. Vegas must be dead. And it was like my most viral fucking tweet of Vegas. Like that shocked me. I mean, I probably shouldn't have, but it was just like a very negative experience for me.
I think the title of this episode should be 2025, the year Vegas died. We'll see how many clicks we get.
We'll probably get a lot.
Yeah.
So I had almost the exact same comment as James, which is I was so surprised how big of a national story the Vegas is dead thing became. Because obviously the content creators in the space were leaning into it. But like I was buying like a weed drink at like the THC store, like 2 blocks from my house.
And your dick pills.
I was getting some horny goat weed and then some regular weed. And the guy that runs the place was like, I said something about having been in Vegas or something like that. And he was like, oh, I hear it's like really bad there. The whole zeitgeist nationwide and perhaps even internationally was in on the fact that Vegas was a bad value and was dying, which I mean, ultimately, I think that's good for us. Like, I'm not sure it's a negative thing. Like, if the entire world thinks Vegas sucks.
No, I mean, we've talked too about how there certainly are people who are feeling the pinch in Vegas, where they're not getting the same experience for the money that they had before. They feel like the way they like to do Vegas in terms of value for them, it's declining, which I think is spot on. I mean, feelings matter, right? So even if you feel like it's going
Mhm.
down, even if it's not, that does matter economically speaking. But yeah, I mean, I never really. It always felt really crowded still whenever I've been out there.
Mhm.
I know in prior years I've been there and it's felt dead. Yeah, I didn't make a tweet about it. I'm like, oh, this is not as busy, but I've gone at traditionally non-busy times this year and it still felt pretty crowded. I'll skip F1, but like I'm not really buying that or haven't bought it. I don't know. I don't know if Vegas truly is the harbinger of the global economy, or if it's more reactive to things, but that's not what I'm looking to when I think of how my personal and national economy is doing. But anyway, is that was yours, Jack?
Yeah, we put these in the little man behind the curtain. We put this stuff in the doc before recording the show, but I had the brilliant idea of putting it all in white text so that you couldn't read it, and then that way we could come up with answers, kind of independent of each other. And I had the exact same thing James had.
And more man behind the curtain, I of course was the last person to even look at the doc. So I go in and try to edit things that have white text in them that I can't see, and I just give up and say I'll just try and remember everything, which is going okay at the point. Thing that shocked me and was quite disappointing this year was actually room quality across the board,
Yeah.
especially for what I would consider to be some premier places. Particularly Aria, I was very saddened by. And I'll say saddened, not disappointed, because you walk into an Aria suite, you expect it to be good. I love Aria, but it really put me off. I mean, serious disrepair in some of these rooms. I'll lump Vidara in there as well. Cosmo was surprisingly good. Maybe it's just because I had a really nice suite and they tend to keep an eye on those pretty well, I imagine. But yeah, I've been a bit disappointed with MGM as of late, especially some of their top tier places. Now Aria is going to get a makeover soon. I know Cosmo is as well, but it's kind of pushing me towards Bellagio for maybe my home base right now because a lot of those rooms got an upgrade in the last couple of years,
Or Waldorf.
and possibly Waldorf, but I'm just not getting offers. But if I can use my Amex credits, then yes, Waldorf or maybe Win.
Do you think that maybe those Aria, Vidara, that sort of thing, do you think that maybe the fact that they need a refresh so badly actually contributes to them falling into greater disrepair? Because they're like, oh, these rooms are next to be fully overhauled. So as a result, we shouldn't put in the time or effort.
I can understand that point of view, but I think it's dumb to think that way anyway because that
I'm
repair is
sorry.
going to need to be made. Now, I don't mean by you. I mean, I think it's dumb for I think that is something that someone in that position would think at times, like a lazy manager would think
Hmm.
that, but I think it's a dumb thing to think because now I don't want to be at Aria because I've seen what a suite is. And if that's how you're caring for your suite, then why would I want to even book a basic room there? I'll just, granted, I'm still going to be in your system. I said I'm going to go to Bellagio, right? So they don't care that much. But
I'm taking my
um,
business next door.
right.
You
But if
own
you could
next door.
if you could imagine though, if you're paying rack rate, you're coming to town, you're treating yourself, and that's or you actually, I think I said it on the podcast, you are a player, and that's the room that you're getting, and that's
Mhm.
what you're seeing. It's like this is how I'm being treated here. Like, thanks for the room, but like, come on, like
Yeah.
step your game up. There's lights missing, drywall's peeling off the wall. Like it's not in a good state.
Yeah,
So
and there were 2 times that Kim and I stayed at MGM properties where, it wasn't necessarily in disrepair, but it was just dirty. Like, there was, like, just
mhm.
dust, and the window I think it was when we were at Vidara, the window I understand if the outside of the window is dirty, like, it's expensive to try and clean all that whatever, but inside, I was like, "You just, like, spray some Windex on this shit and, like, clean it." Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I think they're strapped to like they just this is a larger problem of them not having enough time, not
Yeah.
having the resources to do that. There's the other disappointing thing is just how many times this year I got to a room or got to a hotel and the room wasn't ready and it was check-in time. I'm not trying to sneak in early, but like we're talking hours past check-in time to the point where at Vidara I had to call in a favor from somebody to be like, "Hey, can you check on this because it's getting kind of
What's going
ridiculous."
on? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit disappointing, but I'm hoping that 2026 it gets better.
Yeah.
So something we wish we did more of. Jack, do you want to lead this one in for us?
I mean, I keep saying this, but it's gotta be table games, right? Like every time I go to Vegas, I'm like, I wish I would just play some more tables. And by tables, I mean like specifically craps, Pai Gow poker, and Ultimate Texas Hold'em, probably in that order. And then the other thing I would say that goes hand in hand with this is maybe like leave the video poker bar. Like you can come back, right?
Ever.
But the issue with me is that there's actually no guarantee you can come back. And especially the more friends you have with you in Vegas, the more you want to just stay at the video poker bar you're at, because you're like, how long is it going to take? Especially later in the day as things get busier. Let's say it's 2 p.m. You're deciding, okay, we're going to call this a session. We'll try to come back at 4. Well, at 4, do you know how long it's going to take to get you and 2 buddies 3 machines next to each other at this bar that all have the games you want? Like that can be a 30-minute, 45-minute, like the turnover can be low enough that you can't get back there. And so to some extent, I'm just like arguing with myself, right? Like I wish I left the video poker bar more. I wish I had more hit and run sessions just in general across the board, tables, machines, otherwise. But also that just logistically doesn't always work out. So
Yeah, especially because I think table game minimums have kind of leveled out in a sense. Like
I
they,
almost had that as my like surprising good thing. Yeah.
yeah, and so I think there's opportunities for that. We just haven't done it. I mean, the last night we were there, it was the 4 of us, you, me, Duffy, and Jaron, and we're like, should we go play craps?
Oh,
And
I was begging you guys.
we hemmed and hawed for a second. We're like, let's just go play video poker. It didn't take much convincing for you to do it,
Well,
but
yeah.
yeah. But that's mine as well. I think branching out a bit more and even venturing into something like blackjack occasionally. I have to be reminded of how much fun I actually like playing table games and the camaraderie that goes with it. But also, I think what I want to do more of is not focusing so much on comps and offers, because I think I have that mindset of like, if I'm not earning tier credits at the place I want to be at, if this isn't affecting my ADT, like I'm just kind of not been interested in it. But like I should be going to places like downtown and checking out El Cortez's new renovation. I should be wanting to go like off strip and trying out more places, even if I'm not interested in getting comps there, because I genuinely enjoy doing that. So not playing for comps and offers all the time and just kind of going with it and trying new things.
I just made a note for the 2026 preview that we'll have coming up very shortly after this 2025 year in review, where I want to speak on that a little more. So
All right.
put a pin in that, Adam.
Pin has been put in. James, what about you?
I wish I would have relaxed more. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, and I think I've mentioned this before. Like, I really, really enjoy gambling. Like, I just really do. Like, that's what I love to go to Vegas for. So I want to make it a point. I've done a little more of this, like going and getting a haircut or a shave, or maybe trying to check out a spa. But I think, like you said before, getting down to the arts district, maybe going downtown, walking around a little more, making sure that I am having some nicer dinners. I like to go to local casinos. I like to hit up Atlantic City a few times a year. Like when I go to Vegas, it doesn't need to be a gamble, 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 gamble. So I want to relax a little more. And that's, from my therapist in general, is that I need to relax more in general. So I guess I may as well relax when I'm in Vegas.
It is hard to do, though. I mean, because it's right there.
It's right
and that
there.
is the main reason you went. I get that. So that's what we wish we did more of. Now we have the opportunity to do that, presumably in 2026, because all 3 of us will be going to Vegas. So let's talk about our 2026 preview then, maybe some goals that we want to accomplish in 2026, knowing full well that we probably won't do 90% of them. I'm looking at you, Silverton. So Jack, what are your goals right now for 2026 when it comes to Vegas?
This is good. We're not going to have put that pin in that for very long. But
no, the pin is coming out.
The first thing I'll say is I need to keep more meticulous records of my gambling.
Let me advise against that, because I did that this year, and then I look at that number and I say, "Oh boy, if I put that in my retirement, ... But so maybe you might not want to keep as meticulous.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a real oh boy moment, that's for sure. But I used to keep very good records, and I think it fell off just because, I don't know, for the same reason anything falls off. When you stop doing it, you stop doing it. I can be good about every session putting in what did I buy in with, and then when I end the session, and these are long sessions, it's not like this is that hard, making note of what I cashed out with. And then everything else, like the very specifics, what game was I playing? Where was it? That kind of stuff I can fill in after the fact and it'll be accurate. Whereas the dollars in, dollars out, you really have to do in the moment or you're going to forget exactly. And you're just going to kind of wave your hands and be like, yeah, I mean, it was kind of an even session or I lost a few hundred or whatever. I'm going to try to take a leaf out of James's book and keep a good record for tax purposes and for just personal accounting.
Yeah, I actually want to improve mine slightly. I did a really good job of saying this is how much I won or lost at each session, and I have it broken down by casino and by game, so I can like kind of look. So I'm kind of a data nerd like that. But I want to in 2026 keep track of the other value that I'm getting. Like I had this many free rooms and resort credit and free play because I think that might help me a little bit, right? Like
It'll
I'm looking
reduce
at
the oh boy factor.
correct, right? I'm looking at this 5-figure loss of the year, but if I'm like, well, all of these nice dinners I had that were comped or all of these rooms, it's going to make me not be as, oh shit, I shouldn't do this.
I'm going to put a separate tab in there for like cab rides that Duffy has comped me and stuff like that. That's where I'm really going to get the value, I think.
You get so much value off of that.
Yeah, the tip you didn't have to pay. You have a lot. You definitely positive EV year for you.
Next goal, I do want to stay and play at Fontainebleau at some point. Especially, like I said, they're putting in some of the effort to have more bar top video poker available. And I don't need to be married to the bar top video poker. I could play some table games like I said I wanted to do. We could do that at Fontainebleau maybe. So it is kind of far from stuff, but it's right near Resorts World, which I love to play at. So
right.
I can kind of do a sort of North Strip focused, not even trip, but a North Strip focused 2 nights on a trip. And I think Fontainebleau could be a good place to do that.
Yeah, if you're bouncing from Resorts World and Fontainebleau, you've got plenty to do there. And then the Venetian Palazzo are not far if you're at Resorts World too. So that's a good trip right there.
I kind of said if they commit more heavily to bar top video poker, then maybe I'll stay there. And they have, and so I probably should.
Yeah.
You have to keep your promises, or else, because that's what they've been waiting for. They did that for you, Jack. So you need to hold up your end of the bargain.
They need the Jack bump.
Another couple places I'm interested in staying at, or I'll say visiting and playing at, are Durango and Green Valley Ranch. Because I've been to Red Rock. I've stayed there before. I quite liked it, but it's kind of out on an island. Both Durango and Green Valley Ranch also don't have a ton around them insofar as other casinos immediately nearby, but very nice places. They're in that same ecosystem as Red Rock as a stations property. And I would like to see what they're doing there, either the renovations they've done at Green Valley Ranch or the entire brand new casino that's 2 years old now at Durango.
Durango rooms look wonderful. I mean, it's kind of that station's price, like Red Rock, GVR, Durango. The rooms can be pricey. A little bit of sticker shock if you're not used to off strip, but that was fantastic.
I was booking a room at Red Rock that I had a comped offer for, but before the comp night, it was $499.
Yeah,
I was like, "Who's paying this?" But
yeah, you can't get anything under $200 at those properties, even with if you use like a promotional code or something like that. But really, really nice rooms.
Are there any properties that you want to get to this year, Adam?
Yeah, so on my list would be Win or Encore. Probably Win because I want to wait until the Encore side is renovated. But it's the 1 or 2 hotels, if you will, that I haven't stayed at that I really want to. And once that's crossed off the list, there's really nothing aspirational left for me, which is sad, but also relieving as well. So yeah, I think probably Win. Although I think the Encore room as it stands right now is probably I've been in the room. It's probably my favorite room in Las Vegas. I just like the layout of it. I think the design is wonderful. So yeah, I actually had Durango on there too. Maybe if I can sneak in like one night somewhere. My sister lives out in Summerlin, so it wouldn't be too far from her. So I can kind of make a day of it. But those would be my 2.
Yeah, I didn't think about staying and playing other places when I was talking about like maybe getting to new places in Vegas in 2026, but I took it more of I want to learn more and visit more of the city itself. So if that means, seeing if there's a local comedy club outside of the Improv Club, or if there's other smaller restaurants, or even going to a basketball game at UNLV, like maybe expanding more of If I really I want to make sure that I love the city of Las Vegas, not just, oh, here's some casinos that I'm going to go to. So, which, that might also help me with the fact of not gambling the entire time I'm there if I'm doing other things.
You can do sports betting on your phone or something while
It's
you're
true.
at
I
the
could be on
games.
the, yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty unabashed about my enjoying mostly the casinos and touristy areas of Vegas, but I do have on my list that I want to do some meals in Chinatown, kind of on Spring Mountain Road there, just west of the Strip. I've seen on some vlogs, shout out the Coin Show, their vlogs are where I get most of my Vegas visual content, I feel like.
Yeah, they're a fantastic vlog. And I think in terms of like wanting to try new restaurants, they do a great job of showcasing those.
Should the three of us grow mustaches in 2026? Is that what our goal is going to be?
I would get put on a list. It would not look good. So I would be a red dot on your computer, I think, at that point.
One of the things they highlighted that I'd be really interested in trying is one of those bakeries. There's like a Korean bakery, I think, called Paris Baguette. That's like chain from I think it's headquartered actually in Korea, but it's kind of a West Coast chain in the US that we certainly don't have where I'm at. And then there's, I don't know, other bakeries in that same area that just have like all sorts of different kind of interesting or basic pastries, but they all look really good. Or just going there for more like, I don't know, Korean barbecue or stuff like that. Do dim sum off the Strip somewhere. I'd be interested in doing more meals in Chinatown because it is not far.
Yeah. Coin Show went to that bakery, didn't they?
Yeah, there's one called like 65 Degree Bakery or something. I'm probably getting that wrong. Here's one thing I learned in the past year when doing a podcast. When I listen to a show and people just get the name of something completely wrong, I'm always so mad. I'm like, how can't you just like look it up or like say the right thing? And now that I have my own show, I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. It's a number and it's a bakery. I don't know. Look it up. I don't give a shit. So yeah, there's some good stuff out there that I'd be interested in trying.
Well, and they inspired me because I, like you, Jack, like to get to the room a little bit early and just kind of relax before going to bed. And they do a good job of like saving food or like getting stuff to prepare for a wind down.
They fill up that room, yeah.
Yeah, they do. And so when they went to that bakery, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea because I always like going to like the patisserie at Aria, if I'm in the area before going to bed and having something I shouldn't be having at, midnight or 1 a.m. But yeah, that was a great idea by them.
So let's do the grand unpinning. We've talked about a few places that I want to go try, like Fontainebleau, Durango, GVR. Adam says he wants to be less comp conscious and not worry about playing where he's staying and vice versa. I feel like that was a big point of emphasis for me this past year, is the opposite of that, making sure I do play where I stay and that I concentrate my play at the places I'm staying, and maybe even do shorter stints where I do 2 nights at one property and 2 nights at another, rather than these long 4 or 5 nights at the same property. And then that way my play gets more concentrated and I get better offers. And I mean, it pays off in spades. I'm getting much better comps, A, because I'm playing longer sessions at the video poker bar, and B, because of this strategy of trying to be more judicious about where I'm playing. And so I can't tell if I want to try to branch back out from that or not, because like Adam's kind of hinting at, I do kind of miss the days where I just had a home base hotel and it was whatever offer they would give me, and then I would just play where I wanted to play at any given moment with no regard for if my play was going to be at my host property. And then I kind of completely about faced on that, and now I don't know if I can strike a middle ground.
I think I would be open to that if I wasn't so accustomed to staying at nice properties.
Oh,
like
I know.
My fear, sounds so fucking pretentious, but like, if I'm at Palazzo, like I know how much that room is going to be like coming off of comp. So if I like say, hey, I'm going to stay at Palazzo for 4 nights because I really like to stay there, but no, I'm going to go to Resorts World, I'm going to go here or there, I'm going to play, like I'm going to lose those comps. Like, I mean, as soon as I stopped playing, like I was still getting weekday nights at Wynn, but I lost weekend nights at Wynn like right away as soon as I stopped playing there. And like, I don't want to, we stayed at Planet Hollywood for 2 nights and I don't want to do that again.
I think the important thing there that really does get me is that, yeah, in general, you don't want to play for comps, right? Like you would be better off not playing
Thank you.
and playing the rack rate for the room. Like you say, oh, that room at Palazzo, let's say it's $500 a night. Well, you'd be better off not playing at all and just paying the $500, right?
Yes.
But that's not true if the case is you're going to go lose $2,000 at Resorts World and then come back to your $500 a night room at Palazzo that you're also
Sure.
paying for,
Yeah.
right? Even if you're not supposed to be chasing comps with your play, given that you're probably already playing, you do kind of have to keep the comps in mind more than I was. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's the push and pull of wanting to try different room types at different properties. And like, I would not have enjoyed Palazzo as much or even visited Palazzo if I just stuck with my home base and was super comp conscious, because that means I wouldn't even expand it out to Palazzo in the first place. So it also gives you these new nice experiences that maybe makes you more loyal to something else. I think we've talked about it before. People will say sometimes things like, oh, well, I never get good comps there. It's like, well, how often are you actually gambling there, right?
Mhm.
Because like I follow your social media and never see you at that property, right? So I think people have that kind of bias towards where they're at right now, and I feel very much stuck in MGM. There's still places like I think one of my goals for 2026 was to try the Cypress Suite at Bellagio. I think it's just a beautiful room. The bed overlooks the fountains, like it's facing like the window, and then like the whole rest of the room is behind the bed. And I just think, oh, that's a really cool suite. But I'm never going to get that comped at my rate of play. So like, why worry about it at that point? I'll pay the rate that they give me, and I'll just go play wherever I want to play. But that's also my thing of like, I value rooms and that experience more than probably most other things, including gambling. So that's where I'd like my trip budget to kind of go.
And that's where these kind of credit cards, miles and points sort of stuff really does pay off well. Because if you're already paying a big annual
Hmm.
fee for a credit card that comes with hotel credits, whether it's through FHR or
Hmm.
some of those similar programs from other credit cards, being able to just do a 2-night stay that you know is going to come with some free resort credit, almost like it's a comp offer, and some free
Hmm.
breakfast, almost like it's a comp offer, and get to have a nice stay in a nice room where you get some of the amenities that you might get as an invited casino guest, but then you're not beholden to play there,
Yeah.
is really nice. And so that's a big perk of some of these more expensive credit cards.
Yeah, and not even to like plug a particular card, but I've got the Capital One card, which just offers a statement credit for travel reimbursement essentially. So I know that when I want to stay at Wynn, even if it's just for one night, that's going to be just a points cost for me. I'm not going to pay, I'll pay whatever rate they have, but I'm just going to get it
Mhm.
refunded on the back end with a statement credit anyway. And so it's not something I'm too conscious about or too worried about, which is a bit freeing in that regard. Not to make this a points and miles show, but it's something I do think. I mean, we'll get to Zork. We'll put a pin in that because you'll talk about Zorkfest an hour too. But it is something people should dip their toes in a little bit more.
All right, I've got last two things for my goals for 2026. One is just kind of gambling wishes, and this is Royal Flush related because I went all of 2025 without hitting a single Royal Flush, which is kind
Easy
of
peas.
remarkable. Yeah,
Ooh.
thank you, Adam, because that's kind of remarkable given the amount of video poker I've been pounding away at. So my wishes are one, to get a Royal Flush on a multiplier, 2x or
Nice.
higher. Give me a multiplied Royal Flush, make me earn that $2,000 threshold for the Handpay.
Doesn't need to be DEF CON 1, just any
Yeah.
DEF CON.
And
And then give me a royal where I started by holding some amount of cards that was not 3 or 4. I've seen people hold 2 cards and hit a royal, hold 1
Hmm.
card and hit a royal. I have no idea what that's like. So every royal flush I've hit in my life, I've either held 3 or held 4. I want to get one of those other more elusive numbers like 1 or
or
2.
zero.
0 would be cool. 5 is a good one. There's a lot
Mhm.
of good numbers out there. Last thing I've got, I do want to make a database for video poker bar top conditions. I want to be vpfree2.com, but for bar top video poker. And I think the way to do that is to come up with some like intuitive software that makes it really easy from your phone to just kind of click through like a menu or a wizard or something
Mm.
that
Hmm.
lets you say, oh, what bar are you at? What game do they have? What game do they not have? What pay tables? And you just kind of dink, 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 dink kind of thing. I would like to work on something like that in 2026 that makes it easy to record the conditions at these things. Because right now, it's like all up in my head where I'm like, oh, at MGM, bonus deluxe pay tables get worse when you go from super times pay to double super times pay. But at Fountain Blue, they don't. It stays the same. So that's actually good to know that you can play double super times there, but you can't at MGM. And it's just like this doesn't need to be in your head.
Right.
So
You want it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get it out of your head.
Have you thought about some sort of data that scans all the raw American TV data by any chance? I feel like that would catch on.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any gambling wishes.
other
I
than to
mean,
gamble less.
no, I mean, I want to gamble more. Like, don't get me wrong. I really do want to gamble more. I probably just shouldn't.
You have calluses on your pointer fingers.
I
It's like
do.
that's-
I
mhm.
do. There have been times where I've gotten up from a video poker bar and my forearm is just like, oh my God, I haven't felt that burning in a few nights. So for gambling wishes, yes, I'm with you. I'm with you, Boring Jack, that I want to get a royal. I want to get a royal on more than a 2 multiple, because I did get one on a 2x this year. But I want a big Handpay. Like you, I've never had a huge and like a $10,000 win, even like a $5,000 win. That would be really great. And you would think, again, with the amount that I'm playing, that I would have at some point at least hit a $1 single line or a $1 3-line royal for 4K. I
Yeah, what the
have
hell?
not. I'm not like Boring Jack getting a $10,000. I would even love to have a $12,000 draw like you had at the last trip.
That one's haunting me, but
Yeah, no, mine's similar. I mean, I think I'm the only one out of the three that hasn't hit a royal at all
Oh,
ever?
ever. This
Wow.
has been an ongoing issue. Yeah, this is, I'm being vulnerable
T's
right
and
now.
P's, yeah.
My little reference of you can bet on that as well. Like they haven't hit a royal either, unless
yeah.
They've played 18 hands of video poker though.
I'm on like at least 20
years.
at this point, but still, I have to beat both of them. So that's my big goal. I don't care if it's a hand pay or not, but I just have to. The problem is because I haven't hit it, I can't play like nickels or dimes or anything like that. If I wanted to low roll for like a couple hours, I can't have my first royal be playing nickels or dimes. It's got to be something
a
substantial.
liability.
So
Yeah.
so I did play like dimes, Ultimate X a couple times this year, but I'm like I can't.
You would throw away through to a royal and 4 to a royal at
I was
dimes,
legitimately
just so it
nervous.
doesn't-
Yes,
yeah.
I was like, I don't want to hit it. This is not. I would never document it. I would totally lie. Yeah.
You totally should.
Mhm.
Oh, he hit it, didn't he?
All right, so that's somewhat looking forward to 2026, the things we want. What are our current trips looking like so far? Again, put this down in pencil, not in stone. But James, you've got some trips coming up.
Well, the big one coming up is the 40th birthday, which I've already got 4 nights at Cosmo booked and then 4 nights at Rampart booked. So that's going to be amazing. And then in between, we're debating right now because I think we're going to drive to California to see Kim's family for a couple of days, like kind of take that break. But like we're going to be working during that time. And now, which you'll hear about in hour 2, my trip to M Resort, that might be a nice place because I'll get the free rooms. They're perfectly nice rooms. There's good video poker at lower denoms. I'm not going to feel any pressure to play. So we could still work that, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before moving over to Rampart. But that's the big one. I might be heading out for the Super Bowl. I've had multiple people ask me about going out for the Super Bowl. So that is a possibility.
No one's
depending
asked
on
me.
how. Adam, would you like to go out for the Super Bowl?
No, but
Okay.
I mean, I'm just upset people haven't asked.
Yeah, well, I just asked. And then I definitely will be out there at the end of May. There is a conference for teaching economics, which, that's kind of what my shtick is. And it's one of the annual conferences that I usually go to. And this year it is in Vegas, but it is at the Rio, which I will not be staying at. I will stay somewhere else and then just go to the conference at.
Did you
the
not
Rio.
see the Rio room rate I just found when I was poking
I saw
around?
that. And they were paying you $3
minus
a night.
$3 a night.
It's like when interest rates go below 0, right?
But
It's
the
great.
resort fee and taxes came out to $184.
Jesus Christ.
For I think it was 4 nights, 3 nights, something like that. 3 nights.
Just charge $50
Resort fee is
a
$50.
night, damn it.
You'll pay me $12, but I have to pay you back $184. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really started thinking into the summer, but I know that we'll go at least once during the summer and then a couple times in the fall. So we'll get out there 6-7 times again this year or in 2026, and I'm pumped. I wish I was there right now.
Oh boy, did I consider going out for this coming weekend right before Christmas. I haven't been out before Christmas since like 2022, and I really like Vegas on that dead period, around December 20th, let's say. I think it's a really nice time to be out there because like The casinos don't get a lot of traffic, at least not until, the 29th, 30th. We're starting to get towards actual New Year's crowd, but yet they still put in so much work to get everything all Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate that you can kind of go from casino to casino and see what sorts of holiday stuff they've got going on. And it's not super busy. It's kind of like, oh, they did this all for me,
Mm-hmm.
You should go.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But in the coming year, at the very end of January, I'm planning a trip with some of my friends from my former employer. So this is Quick Quads Josh. And I don't know. We'll see how many people we get there. This was one I explicitly did not invite James or Duffy along with. And they were both like, oh, maybe I'll come out that weekend. I was like, oh, please don't. Because if I have my like weird Vegas friends there, I'm just going to hang out with my weird Vegas friends. And then like all the people that I like tried to get there are going to be like, oh, we showed up and Jack's just like here with his other buddies. So
Hey, this was my whole thing way back when we started planning my 40th birthday. I was like, well, maybe I should have a weekend for my like non-gambling friends and then a weekend for my gambling friends. And you were the one, we can roll back the tape. You were the one that was like, oh no, but it's great when you get both those people together and they start talking. And now you're just throwing it right back in my face. Oh man, I might have to quit the pod.
I feel like that's very different than if I was trying to put together like a big event. This is more like I'm planning a trip with these friends for these friends. And you're like, can I come? And I'm like, no, that's completely different.
I mean, technically you can go. Vegas is open to everybody. So if you wanted to go,
I might go and I'm going to take up all of the Shandy video poker bars. Like Jack's gonna get there at 5:30 in the morning. I'm just gonna
get a hooker and be like a prostitute to be like, we're not doing anything. I'll pay you $100 just to sit here.
Pay you $100.
They're already sitting there at 5:30 in the morning at the Cosmo. All the seats are already.
We're gonna get them early.
So
super early.
Yeah.
Anyway,
just in these Ultimate X seats.
What other trips do you have, Jack?
Well, that's all I have on the books right now is end of January. And then I'm going to try to go for the first weekend of James's 40th Spectacular, where he's staying on the Strip. So that's, I don't know, March 10th or something and thereabouts.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a couple penciled in. I mean, 2 kids, Disney trips doesn't make it easy, but it's looking like March for the birthday trip is a possibility. Possibly August because AC/DC is extending their Power Up tour. I saw them in Chicago and it was great. And Vegas and AC/DC to me is a match made in heaven. They've already played there. So I'm thinking about making a trip of that. And then maybe a fall winter trip. I'm not really sure, but that's what I've planned. It's my wife's 40th this year, so we're going to go to Mexico too. So we got some other things going down, but hopefully at least 3.
So the over under on the 3 of us being in Vegas at the same time this year, if I set that over under at 1, would you take under or over?
Well, it sounds like we already have one planned.
Yeah, but that's penciled in for both of you.
I'm slamming the over on 1.0.
Okay.
And I might take the over on 1.5.
Ooh.
I would set the line at 1.5 and I would take the under.
Okay.
Well, Adam seems like pretty confident that he's seeing us in March and then never again. So.
Well, you were about to slam something, so I don't know what's going on.
Other things for 2026 before we get out of here. What about meetups? Any other areas of meetups that you may see yourself going to? Like if there was a Biloxi one in the summer or if there was a Blackhawk one, which I'm sure there will be. Is there anything that either of you might be interested in going to?
We had a recent review. Our latest review on iTunes was from someone who's very nice, gave us positive feedback, and I think they said jokingly that we should talk about other places to gamble. And I wanted to see if we could like block their IP address from listening to our show for that suggestion. But no, I don't think for me, Biloxi's always a great time when people go out there. Everyone has great feedback. I've been out there before with a group that goes normally. It's awesome, but I have no desire this year with limited time to go anywhere but Vegas.
You know how I feel about that. I went to Biloxi once. It was really cool to see that crew, but I really would just prefer to put in another Vegas trip instead. And the money spends the same kind of at the video poker machine in either place. And so I'd rather do it in Vegas. You said meetups. I think it's kind of a bummer that in general, Vegas meetups are kind of going by the wayside. There used to be a handful of them, and now with the passing of 360 Mark, I don't know if we're going to have meetups with the same regularity and crew that we had back in the heyday, or
It was
even
like
as recently
3
as
or
this
4
year.
a year.
Right. And now we're down to maybe one a year if you count Zorkfest as that sort of thing. And it is and it isn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's a downer. So anyway, have a good. No, I'm just kidding.
I would love to get to Black Hawk because I haven't been there, but I don't know. A lot of it, like honestly, because Kim and I, our business is very reliant. Like it just follows the college university schedule. So someone messaged me and was like, "Hey, we might do this meetup, but it's the weekend before the semester starts." Like I just can't do that. So depending on dates, like we love to just randomly go places. And if
Love that for
there's
you.
a casino, why not? So hopefully I'll check. I'll check a couple new places off on my list this year.
Well, be sure to listen to Not Here because we won't be talking about them. That was our year in review and looking ahead to 2026. Thank you all for listening. In hour 2, we've got much more for you. But for now, I'm Adam the Fraud on behalf of Boring Jack and Table James Games. Thank you for listening.
See ya.
Take care.